I was saying how it looked with all the white on it. Oh, something's popping up on Twitch. Something's popping up. It's gonna be me. I think it's gonna be me. Let me make sure we're up and running. Mute me so you bugs don't hear me. Yep, there I am. Looking good, looking good. Get the pop out chat going so I can chat with everybody. Cynical says passed. Hi Cynical, what'd you pass? Hi Prez. I can close the Twitch stream now. And I can just keep my little pop-up chat open like I like doing. Oh, I did say test. Thank you. Hey Bradley, how's it going? Is everyone wearing pink? I hope everyone's wearing pink. Let me just get those last minute adjustments going. White font on a white background? Is it hard to see? That's why I made it the opacity. I was hoping it was easier to see. Here, let me try to mess with it. It's so late, Beetle. It is really late. But that's why we do Comic Box so late. So it's the last thing you get before you go to bed. Let's see. Let's turn the opacity down a bit. Let's go 60. Boom. I hope that's a little easier to see. I don't know, hard for you. I have a chat with black font. Stretch that out a little bit. There we go. Let's try it that way. I mean, I could do a black box. I just didn't think a black box would look so good. Let's try a black box. Turn that brightness down to 0. Like that. There we go. That might be a little better. Yeah. Now it's a black box with white writing. I would have done a blue box, but I realized the names are in blue, so it would be really hard to see. So we'll do black. We'll do black and white for now. Next week I might change it up and see how it looks later. I just wanted an easier way to see the chat's over here. I always forget. I just wanted an easier way to see the chat so that all you bugs can read and all the YouTube bugs can read a little easier. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Think. Oh! Hey bugs! Super Beetle here. It's Wednesday. And I hope you are wearing pink because we wear pink on Wednesdays and you come here to twitch.tv/SuperBeetleGames every Wednesday night to watch Beetle's Comic Box, where we get to talk about the comics that came out this week and really just anything. We usually start with comics and it just kind of runs around the whole globe and we talk about wrestling, we talk about movies, we talk about yeah, anything you bugs have any questions on or want to talk about in the chat. We get into it all. So this is basically like free time. It's our little hangout time before everyone goes to bed because it's really really late. On Wednesdays we were pink. Yay for Mean Girls references. That's how it started out. It started out as a Mean Girls reference over on Clearance Rack on Monday, and it just kind of came over to Wednesday, and now this is what we do. We wear pink on Wednesdays. It stuck. I like it. It fits. So that's what we're doing. So I did something a little different this week, and I'm not sure how much I liked it. So I had to take a detour. Went to go be on the Stop Being Marks podcast. You can check that out on my Twitter. I was on their podcast, just a little impromptu thing. So I didn't have time to go to the comic book store. But that doesn't mean I can already hear you. Breathe. Whew. Calm down. Brr, brr, ma. Woosah. Sorry, I totally hit the mic. Doesn't mean I didn't read comics because I used my phone. And I'm going to get into that. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that right now. So, I'd like to know how you bugs buy comics. If you buy them physically, if you buy them digitally, do you go to the store? Do you get them through mail? Because people get them through mail. And what's your comic book store like? Because my comic book store is one of the bigger comic book stores here in Southern California. Definitely a bigger comic book store in the Inland Empire. It's called Four Color Fantasies out in Rancho Cucamonga. And I switch between that and a shop called Quest out in Montclair, which is a much smaller store, very, very personal store. And that's vocalizing, not breathing. I don't understand that. Am I breathing too much? No, I can't do it without breathing. Okay, sorry. My comic book store is kind of small, and most people's are, honestly. There's one out in Riverside that I go to as well that's basically a High School Musical reference. I got it because I did the reference. Sorry. There's one out in Riverside that I can go to as well that's literally just it's just a room, just a single 4 walls. Hi Albie, welcome to the stream. Just 4 walls. And people still go in there, and it's called Visionary Comics, and it's still such a family run business. It's so personal and so much cooler to have that one-on-one time with the shop owner and everything. So there's a couple different comic stores. Today, like I said, I did it differently. I didn't have time to go out and hit the store, so mine is called Comics the Gathering. That's pretty cool. Most stores also have Magic the Gathering and card games in the back. Four Color Fantasies does, I know very well. And so I did it on my phone. Much different buying process. I would dare to call it an overall comics app called Comixology. It's run by Amazon. And I have a problem with Comixology because they do not make it easy for you to buy comics at all. They definitely make it easy for you to just subscribe to their comics service. Marvel also has one, Marvel Unlimited. I'm pretty sure DC has one as well. They make it pretty easy on those platforms. Comixology, not so much. The Comixology app that you download on your phone is for viewing, and to actually purchase anything, you have to go to the Comixology web page and purchase it through there, and then download it to your app. So it's already a hard barrier for people to get into, which should be a much easier barrier digitally. If I want to go out and digitally buy Superman #1 from Rebirth, I should just be able to go and click one button. No, gotta go 2 different places. By the way, I have to download one of those places, and then that place downloads the other place. So it's not convenient at all. Sorry, I'm totally missing the chat. Prez says, my comic book shop's pretty awesome, actually. It's called House of Heroes. It's personal, too, but I wouldn't call it small. Mine's in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I totally said that wrong. Wisconsin. That's awesome. And a lot of people with their own local comic book store have that very personal feel to it. A lot of people know their comic book store owner and know them personally and talk back and forth. And a lot of people have pull lists, and if you don't know what pull lists are the best way to support your local comic book shop, because that's telling them these are the books that I'm going to buy from you every week, and that ensures that they don't buy too many books. Because for those of you that don't know, if a publisher, if a comic book store buys a certain amount of books, they aren't able to return the books that aren't bought. They have to keep those books, so they buy a certain amount of books, expecting to sell that certain amount of books. And some stores, especially the newer ones, might buy more than they should, or buy more than they think they have to, because they don't know how many they're going to sell. And so your pull list shows them a little bit better of a little bit more of an overall scope of what they can buy. And honestly, that makes sure you get your books. That makes sure they get money for the books that they are purchasing. And it also leaves room for them to buy the smaller books that you might want to see, or someone might walk into that store and discover. Not just your Marvel and DC, but your IDWs and your Boom Studios and your Titan comics and all that, which we have a Titan comic on the list today, and all that other stuff that you can just walk in and see on the shelves and like, hey, that looks pretty cool, I'm gonna pick that up, and all of a sudden, boom, you're in love with a writer, or you're in love with a series that you never thought you'd ever be able to pick up. So if you want to support local comic book stores, pull lists are the best way. And I am very much a guilty today, because purchasing online, purchasing through Comixology is not the best way. It's convenient for some. I wouldn't even call it convenient for some people. It's what some people use. But reading on your phone is definitely not the same as having those pages in front of you. And now I feel kind of bummed, because I have a couple comics on my phone that I don't have the physical copies for. And I'm probably going to go buy the other ones, to be quite honest, just so when I pull out my collection one day and I have a son or daughter or a little bug, I can go, hey, look, these are the things I enjoyed when I was me. And I want you to enjoy them too. I don't want to have to be like, here's number 26, here's number 27, but number 28 is over here on my phone or on this iPad. You can read it there, and then you have to go back to 29 and 30 on the books. It's just such a weird feeling. And I guess I could have just start a collection on the phone and buy all those books and have them forever. For some reason, there's that barrier there. That's just not how comics are. I guess that's just not how they're meant to be taken in. But anyways, enough about that. Sorry, totally fail on my part today. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I wonder if future bugs will know how to turn pages. So do I. I often, I guess, am amazed that there are probably bugs in the world right now. Little bugs, little 4, 5, 6-year-old bugs that don't know that Dwayne Johnson was a wrestler. And that blows my mind completely. Like, the man I grew up idolizing, The Rock. And there's bugs out there that just know him from Fast and the Furious or from Jumanji. And that's insane to me. And when they go back and watch WrestleMania 30, they're just like, oh, Dwayne Johnson's on WrestleMania. That's cool that they got Dwayne Johnson to come in. But no, to us, that was The Rock coming home. How crazy is that? Sorry, a ton of tangents. Let's get into the books of the week, because this week, I'm going to jump over to my phone real quick. Because, like I said, this week, I bought them on the phone. So open the Comixology app. The interface of the Comixology app, not that bad. It's getting the books over to it. So we have 4 books this week. I picked up 4. And the first book we've actually... Yeah, let's start at DC. The first book we've actually read the last one on. And that is Batman issue 28. Now, this is written by Tom King. The war of jokes and riddles still going on. Last time we had the introduction, I guess the origin story of Kite Man. This one, I can honestly say that this issue is just as personal, just as good. Maybe a little less personal, just as good. Tom King is absolutely, totally, I don't even know a word for it, besides killing it. I don't even like to use that word, but he's killing it on Batman right now. The war of jokes and riddles is in full effect. This is only part 3. I didn't even know that. And it's in full swing right now. Batman's telling his side of the story, and Gordon's telling his side of the story earlier in the book. And the same way that Kite Man just the same way that Kite Man just turned into this absolutely tragic tale. Hey, Miss Chandra, thanks for making it for a Wednesday night stream. They're really late. I'm glad you're here. The same way that Kite Man kind of turned very tragic. Batman starts this book very stern, this is what we need to do. This is how we end this war. And him and Gordon are coming up with a plan, and he just very much breaks down throughout the book as he sees his city break down. He tells a story about Deadshot and Deathstroke, because they're both on separate sides, and they show up at a place to assassinate Batman. And somehow, I mean, not somehow, they're both snipers. So they end up seeing each other on opposite buildings, and they start fighting. And that fighting happens for 5 days. And Batman goes down what happened each of the 5 days. And he starts to talk about how many people died in those 5 days. Each day, day by day, how many people died day by day, and how he couldn't stop them fighting. He couldn't catch up to them fighting. He could just try and save these people in the aftermath of them fighting. And on day 5, he finally caught up to them fighting. And he's so distraught. He's so unhinged that he puts them both in the hospital because of what they did to his city. And so in the same way, the Kite Man comic before this one, issue 27, it starts as a very general issue. It starts as a very like, all right, now we're going to get into the war of jokes and riddles. Now we're going to, and the war is already going on. So it kind of seems like now we're getting to the scope, to the big scope. And it starts with this gigantic scope. And it, throughout the book, slowly closes in and closes in and closes in until at the end of the book, you're literally looking through a microscope at Batman at his weakest, most vulnerable point. Not because he was beat down. No, he wins that fight easily. But because the thing he lives for, Gotham City, is destroyed around him. And it's a very cool comic. And if you haven't started picking him up, please go pick up Batman. This is issue 28. You can go all the way back, or you can just start at issue 26, I guess. The start of the War of Jokes and Riddles. It's super fantastic. So, we all have pajamas except for King Beetle. It's okay. I mean, yeah, I don't have my pajamas on. I'm wearing. I need pink pajamas. That's the main gist of this. Once I get pink pajamas, we're gonna be rolling on Wednesdays. I promise. Man, that's awesome. I really need to read all of this. Please go back and read it. The first 2 volumes are probably in trade by now. But if you want to go to your local comic book store, and if you can't find, I guess that's one of the pros of digital, is that your local comic book store might not have it. They might be sold out because, like I said, they do only order a certain amount for what they think they can sell. Comixology, you can go back and buy all of them if you wanted to, and they have sales all the time of back issues and back volumes. I think they just had a Rebirth sale last week. So that's the good part about Comixology. So if you go into a local comic book store and you can only find 2 or 3 issues, don't worry, pick up those 2 or 3 issues and then go back and pick up what you couldn't find on Comixology or DC's service or Marvel's service, whichever one you decide. Right, I'm not a DC person, but that sounds worth a read. It absolutely is. And I'll even say, like, a year ago, 2 years ago, I wasn't a DC person, but DC is absolutely on the right track right now. Next book, we'll jump over to Marvel, because in my eyes, I want Gordon to get a sense of humor. That's kind of Gordon's thing. He doesn't have a sense of humor. Gordon is justice through and through. But jumping over to Marvel, the biggest book this week, and it's the only Marvel book I picked up this week, is Generations. What is it called? Generations the Strongest. Totally Awesome Hulk and Banner Hulk. I'm going to be 100% honest because Marvel won't be 100% honest right now. This book is coming out before the end of Secret Empire. It's supposed to be set after Secret Empire. And the gist of it is the Generations tagline is supposed to be this new era, this new dawn for Marvel Comics. But we're getting it as we've gotten the last couple weeks before the old era ends. That's just the way it's been happening recently, where we get these new events, these new status quos before the old era is over, before the event is actually over. And correct me if I'm wrong, because one of you may know, I don't even think any of Secret Empire has been delayed. So it was made to happen this way. But long story short, Generations is a line of comic books where as we talked about, I believe it was last week's episode. It's a couple of books where we get to see the classic heroes team up with their new, younger counterparts, the new people that took their mantle. I know Spider-Man, you have that one's coming out in a couple weeks. You have Miles teaming up with Peter for something. You have Captain Marvel teaming up with Miss Marvel. You have the original Captain Marvel teaming up with the now Captain Marvel, and a couple of other ones. Have you read the Armory War comics? No, but I've heard a lot about them. Big fan of Coheed and Cambria. Big fan of that whole, I guess, albums, you can call them. Have not read Armory War comics. I've also wanted to read Gerard Way's comics. I forgot what they're called. I apologize. But Gerard Way also writes comics that sound pretty good. So I'll go for that one too. It's like every band in my middle school just decided, you know what, we're going to write books. We're going to write comic books. So, oh yeah, sorry, Generations of the Hulk. So it starts out with Totally Awesome Hulk, Amadeus Cho, who is the current operating Hulk. I think he's just jumping along. And all of a sudden, he gets hit by a bullet. And all of a sudden, he turns around, and he's in a war zone in Death Valley. The Umbrella Academy, that's what it was. Thank you, Chandra. Cynical, yes, CM Punk was writing Drax for Guardians of the Galaxy, or from Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel. I don't know how many issues he did on that, but I have to pick that up too. See, it's just when your childhood heroes, your idols, write comics, you got to read those comics. But at the same time, if they're terrible comics, it's a MacGuffin. It's not a MacGuffin. It's a struggle. Which one do I care about more? So Amadeus Cho, finds himself transported back and sees himself as Marvel Hulk. Sees Bruce Banner as the Hulk fighting the military in Death Valley. Instantly, because spoilers for an event from a year ago, Bruce Banner, no, I guess he is alive now again. He's alive now. Amadeus Cho doesn't realize it. He's alive now in Secret Empire. We talked about it 2 shows ago. But Bruce Banner's supposedly dead because Hawkeye shot him with an arrow back in Civil War 2. So Amadeus is like, whoa, there's Banner. All right, let's calm him down. I don't really know what to do. They start fighting. They start duking it out. The 2 Hulks. General Ross is like, what? These 2 Hulks are fighting? Get them both. Bomb all of them. Brah. Obviously, this isn't present day. Amadeus has somehow jumped back in time, and he doesn't know how. Finally gets Banner to calm down. Finally gets away from General Ross. So him and Banner have some quiet time to talk. And it becomes even more obvious that this isn't the Banner of now, of 2017 Banner. This is definitely a Banner that's still on the run, that he eats out of a garbage can because he's afraid to go into a diner because people will notice him. He doesn't want to contact any of his friends because it's happened before and he's let them down, or he's almost got them killed. He doesn't want to go and save the world or even admit that he saved the world because he's so ashamed of what's inside of him. Absolutely an old take on Banner. The oldest take on Banner, let's say. And Amadeus is just like, but you've done so many good things, and the Hulk can be used for good, and maybe we just have to let our anger out every once in a while. Maybe our anger's good. And as they're having this quiet moment, a sea monster comes out because a sea monster's been awakened from all the military bombings happening. I already didn't like Hawkeye, and he does this. Mass hysteria, cats and dogs living together. Banner is amazing. If you haven't, I don't even want to recommend Civil War 2, so we'll go into a little bit of it. Just a quick off tangent. It's revealed in Civil War 2 that Banner tells Hawkeye that he can feel Hulk coming back out, because Hulk, the way Amadeus Cho got his powers is that he took the Hulk from Banner and became the Hulk. So Banner tells Hawkeye to shoot him if he ever becomes the Hulk. He gives him a special kind of arrow and says, here, kill me with this. And Hawkeye does. Hawkeye listens to what he says. But the sea monster comes out, and Amadeus starts fighting it. He wants Banner to stay calm, so he wants Banner to protect the people and help the people evacuate. Obviously, this goes awry. Banner gets absolutely hulked out, starts going at it with Amadeus. And for some reason, the Hulk was talking like old school Hulk at the beginning, talking very, Hulk is the strongest. And then he hulks out and he beats up Amadeus, and Amadeus is kind of out of options at this point. And the Hulk starts talking normally. Starts talking, I guess, intellectually. Starts telling Amadeus that you think we can control this, but you have a monster inside of you just like I do, and it's in the back seat. It's coming forward. It's trying to grab hold of the steering wheel, and I know that you can feel it, and you want to pretend like you can't, but it's there. And it's going to get out, because mine gets out all the time. And Amadeus starts feeling it take over. Amadeus starts to second guess himself and believe Banner Hulk. And Banner Hulk is coming down and goes back to Banner and tells Amadeus that, like, I get where you're coming from. I get that you wanted to save everyone, including that sea monster, because I've been there before. And it didn't work. And it's just not who we are. And maybe, just maybe, that monster in the backseat should take control. And all of a sudden, Amadeus is transported back to present day. And he can feel himself being teleported as Banner's talking to him. And he's back in present day, but he still feels that anger building up inside of him, that monster coming forward. And that's where the book ends. So honestly, it's a very interesting book, very interesting place to start a story. The problem I have with it is that you're not done with your old story yet. If you're going to tell a story, please finish the last one. Let me know where we're at now, because right now we have no clue when this is taking place, where it's happening for Amadeus, because Secret Empire is not over yet. We don't know the end of Secret Empire. Why is Amadeus jumping around thinking the Hulk's not alive when we just saw the Hulk 2 issues ago in Secret Empire? It doesn't make any sense. I can't explain Marvel's problem any better than that. And it's reading this book, it was a really cool read. Trust me, if you want to read a cool Hulk story, go out and read it. And at the end, I just closed it and I thought, that was cool. I don't know where it fits in or why. And I don't want everyone to have that problem. And it's just, please, if you need to read a Hulk story, you can go out and read this. You can go out and grab it. Wait till Secret Empire is over. And I would say grab this on its own. This is really confusing timing-wise, but it does sound super interesting. Absolutely confusing timing-wise. I can't even... That's what we're talking about this whole time. I can't put it any better. It's just... I want to love Marvel so much. Marvel is what I grew up in. There was a place next to Universal Studios City Walk, called Marvel Mania. Back in the 90s. Papa Bug and Mama Bug took me to Marvel Mania. With Brother Bug and everything. The waiters, it was a restaurant, and the waiters dressed up as Marvel characters. Wolverine, Captain America, and on the wall there was a screen that was just 50 TV screens that played 90s Marvel animated cartoons, X-Men, Spider-Man, Silver Surfer, the whole thing. It was my absolute serenity. I loved this place. I've been there twice. I loved that place. It's shut down since then. But I loved it so much because those were my heroes. Marvel was my heroes. And I don't know what's happening to my heroes right now. So yes, like Cynical said, basically wait and collect Generations as a whole. Or even just wait till... What's up, Sir Magnus? That totally scared me because we haven't got a follow yet on the stream. But thank you for following. So wait as a whole. Or just wait until wait until Secret Empire is over, and then I think we still got like 3 Generations comics left after Secret Empire is over. So wait until that's over, and then grab that. And I realized you guys probably didn't hear that jingle because I have the desktop muted. So I'll put that on. So that pretty much concludes Marvel for the week, because yeah, that's the only one I picked up from Marvel. I'm just not excited about it right now. I even saw Hawkeye went on sale this weekend. It's like Hawkeye number 6 or something, and I stared at it for a good like 10 minutes. I was like, should I buy this? Should I jump in now, or should I just wait for Generations to start? Wait for the reboot to happen. I think there's a Hawkeye Generations. Who knows? I would imagine so. There's 2 Hawkeyes. There has to be a Hawkeye Generations. All right, next comic is jumping back to DC. It's a book that used to be the flagship of DC, and by every right should be the flagship of DC, but they kind of dropped it off after Rebirth. They kind of just, I don't want to say ignored it, but they gave it to not even a lesser known writer. They gave it to an artist who also writes, and just kind of pushed it to the back in favor of books like Trinity and Action Comics and Superman and Super Sons and Batman. And that's Justice League, obviously. Sorry, we're talking about Justice League. This is the start of the new arc. Justice League number... I keep closing my phone before I should. Justice League number 26. Issue number 26 starts a new arc. So if you want to jump on, you can jump on here. There is a reference to an earlier arc, but it's just one reference, and it points it out in the book. So you don't really need to know what it is. Basically, the whole book opens with the children of the Justice League in a dystopian future trying to take what is Mount Olympus, sitting in the middle of New York City. So these new characters are kind of cool. And I'm gonna forget the names, so we're just gonna go kind of very loosely here. There's one called Cube, obviously the son of Cyborg or daughter of Cyborg. It's kind of hard to tell. The art, Brian Hitch is a great artist in some aspects. When he's slicing his time between art, I don't know. I guess I should not talk out of my blowhole and make sure Brian Hitch is the artist. It does look like his art. Let's see. Art by... Oh, it doesn't even say. Oh, yeah, it does. There we go. Colored by Fernando Passarin. Okay, so it's not Brian Hitch. Definitely trying to be a Brian Hitch style, I think. That's kind of what it looks like. But the art's not great. Sorry. It's what you would think of if you picked up a Justice League comic and didn't expect anything from it, if that makes sense. It's not great art. The faces aren't great. You can't really tell distinctly, I guess, if you're just looking for face. They all just kind of look a little wonky. But it's the sons and daughters of the Justice League, and they're trying to take this dystopian castle. It ain't Secret Wars, huh? It ain't Secret Wars for sure. Secret Wars is drawn. I forgot his name. I want to say his name is Asad Ribic, but Secret Wars is absolutely freaking beautiful. So this story arc's called Legacy, and it's the Justice League's kids trying to take this Mount Olympus from the... Does the mobile version still have Snickers ads? No, it doesn't. The mobile version, okay, I said there wasn't many pros. This is one of them. The mobile version, Comixology, does not have ads, and it does not for sure have that Snickers ad that pops up every DC comic there is in the middle of the comic that completely breaks your focus in the story. You're not you and your angry bug. I'm sorry. Snickers ad makes me absolutely furious because there's so many better ways to do it than the way you do it, DC. Shut it down. Stop with the Snickers ad, please. I'm begging you. Sorry, back to the story. We keep getting off topic. Yeah, they're just trying to take this mountain from this new villain called Sovereign. and there's what looks to be Superman and Wonder Woman's kid. Well, I guess they'll get into that later for sure. But he's basically has Wonder Woman's tiara, I guess, that pinning together Superman's cape, and he's big and stocky kid. Cool. His name's Hunter. Whatever. It just feels like something we've seen before. It definitely feels like something. I guess if you've read Next Avengers, or not even read, seen the movie Next Avengers, or read the Avengers issues with Next Avengers, it feels exactly like that. And these kids go back in time, and they end up finding the Justice League. They end up finding the Justice League and telling them, "Hey, the future's so bad right now. It's crazy stuff. All this stuff's going down, and it's because of you. It's your fault." And then the book ends. It just feels the same. It definitely feels like we've felt this before. Go read Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, where their kids come and see them. Go watch the movie Next Avengers. It's pretty good. Feels exactly like that. There's nothing else I can say about this book. Nothing's particularly exciting about it. I don't know if you've read Justice League longer, if it makes it any different, but I just wasn't that grabbed by it. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on Justice League, and we'll wait to pick that one up for everyone else, or to suggest everyone to pick that one up, because like I said, it's kind of just like meh right now. So it's just not very original or deep, sadly. Yes. Jeff Johns' run on Justice League is great. If you want to read Justice League, go back and read that. Brian Hitch, I guess the best you can say is forgettable. That's what I've seen everywhere, and from what I've read, like I would be surprised if we pick up this book. If it's not a really slow week, we probably won't pick up this book again, honestly. But the last book of the week from Titan Comics, like I was telling you, we got one Titan Comics on here. We always get like an IDW or a Boom Studios, and like lately it's been Power Rangers. But we always get one indie just to throw it in there. I guess it's not really an indie; they're still a company. We always get one independent publisher thrown in there. This time, from Titan Comics, we read Robotech #1. Now, my experience with Robotech is a game on PlayStation 2 that I played at a friend's house. I played it a couple times. I watched him play it. I know the terms. I know the Macross Saga. I know Rick Hunter. I know Roy. I'm not particularly familiar with Robotech. I think I've watched the first anime on the first episode of the anime on Netflix, because I think it's on Netflix. That was it. That's all I went into Robotech knowing. I was like, cool. I know they're giant robots. I know they're planes that turn into planes with feet that turn into robots and fight. Everybody is freaking out about Robotech, which makes me really happy, because I kind of dug this book. It seems like it's retelling the original, from what I've seen. I don't know if there's any changes or not, because I don't remember it that well. But it's definitely Macross City and the what is it called? The SDF-1? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the SDF-1? I'm sorry if it's wrong. But it's the initial day. It flashes back to the day that got there, and Roy's there, and they're telling him, oh, everything's going to be different now. And then 10 years later, they're about to launch it into space again. Or launch it back into space, but this time with the human crew and everything. And all of it is, I think, yes. Okay, cool. So they are going to launch it back up into space and everything. And they start getting invaded, as Robotech does, because I know that happens the first time out. So they start getting invaded. And Rick comes to see Roy. Is it the one that starts with Rick as a kid at the air circus? No, he doesn't start as a kid at the air circus. He starts as like already the super cocky pilot that we all know. And I'll give this book the credit where it's due. At the beginning, it introduces the characters just in a little page. It says, "This is Rick Hunter. He's this. This is Roy. He's this. This is the captain. They're this." And that absolutely helped me with this going in. So Rick shows up wanting to see his brother. Brother doesn't want to see him. He's like, it's an important day. Arrest this kid. Well, I'll deal with him later. Then everything starts going down. And it all starts happening. And he ain't cocky. It ain't cocky if you can back it up, yo. True. Because I know Rick Hunter can back it up. Because I've seen that. When I was playing the game, he was just like, blah, 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 blah. Oh, now my robot has feet. Now my robot's a plane. Super dope. Yeah, it is good that they give me a rundown like that, because honestly, going into this, I probably wouldn't have cared about them as much if I didn't know if I didn't know about them. Like Rick, I believe runs into Lisa. Rick runs into Lisa halfway through the battle, and she's like freaking out and yelling at him. And if I didn't know that was an important character in this comic by that first page, I probably would have just been like, all right, skip. But since I know from the first panel that she's important to this, it made that interaction feel a little more like, okay, this is gonna mean something later down the line. I better pay attention to this. And it ends, I guess, in the right place, you can say. Good luck Friday, brother. EWF Wrestle Circus on Saturday. Thank you, Slacker. It's we'll get to this weekend at the end. Trust me. I'm very overwhelmed. But yeah, so it ends kind of roughly with Rick taking Lisa, I believe it's Lisa, like I said, in his Veritech, and the aliens kind of revealing themselves a little bit more, or revealing another form. So it's very interesting. And if you're a big Robotech fan, which it seems like most bugs in the chat, I keep pointing to the wrong side, most bugs in the chat are, like, go check it out. Robotech #1, definitely a cool jumping on point. It's written by Brian Wood. I remember the name Brian Wood, and I cannot for the life of me remember anything I read from him. But so far, this is good. Brown hair and super hysterical Lisa for defo. Yep, it was definitely Lisa then. So yeah, go pick up Robotech #1. Go to your local comic book shop. If they don't have it, put it on your pull list, like I was saying earlier in the show, because pull lists are what make your local comic book shop go round. Period. Right there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the comics. That's all we read this week. If you bugs read anything, go ahead, shout it out, talk about it in the chat. I'm back. What I missed, I just caught you mentioning about Robotech. Yeah, we talked about Robotech. Apparently everybody loves Robotech. I like the series, but I love the movie Super Dimensional Fortress Macross. Do you remember Love? Super Dimensional Fortress Macross is what that ship is called, not Macross, but the rest of it is what that ship's called. Like I said, I know the terms, the Macross Saga, the Veritech. Brian Wood did like the Couriers or something. I've never read that. I know he read I know he wrote DMZ, but I never read that as well. But as far as I know, it's pretty well read, or well received, I guess. Do you remember Love? I don't remember Love. I don't know what you're talking about, actually. Unless that's the title of that movie. That would make sense. I don't know why it confused it for you asking me a question. So yeah, on to this weekend, because Bugs, that is the title. Cool. Bugs, this weekend is gigantic. We're done talking about comics for a second. Before I wrap up this show. I guess we got like 15 minutes for questions and stuff, because I do try to keep this one to an hour. I try to keep Monday and Sunday show to an hour and a half, 2 hours usually. It all just depends on how the flow's going. Yeah, but he did video games. That's also another thing he's good at. Lots of Rockstar games. Oh, really? I didn't know Brian Wood wrote Rockstar games. Which ones? Like Red Dead? This weekend starts tomorrow for me. So it's going to be kind of a long weekend. And for any of you bugs that are able to catch all of it, or just a little of it, thank you, because I've said it a million times, it would not be happening without you, because you went online and voted. You put me where I'm at right now. You're making my dreams come true. Simple as that. So tomorrow, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So much earlier than this. Probably like 3 hours before this started. Definitely like 3 hours before this started. Wherever you are, just think of it that way. You can go on YouTube and search the Wrestle Guy Store. the Wrestling Guy store, not the Wrestle Guy store, I apologize. The Wrestling Guy store. And I'm going to be on that podcast. 7 p.m. streaming live on YouTube. It's also going to go up on YouTube after that, on demand, for anyone that wants to just watch it on their own time. But for anyone that can be there, 7 p.m., please do. It's always more fun when they have fan interaction and stuff. And it's just more fun when we're talking to people. But I'm doing that tomorrow. Friday night, as someone mentioned in the chat earlier, Empire Wrestling Federation, Covina, California, the EWF Arena. I'll be there defending the tag team titles with my partner Ty Ray against True Grit. And for anyone that doesn't know True Grit, go look up Jesse James and Hoss Hogg from Santino Brothers Wrestling, because they are one of the absolute hottest tag teams in SoCal right now, for as young as they are. And they are tearing it up. You can go check out videos from them from FCW, from Santino Bros. Heck, they've even been in Empire Wrestling Federation before. I'm not sure if they have any videos from there on the YouTube, but you can check them out there as well. They are two just massive bugs, and they hit pretty hard. So we'll see how that goes. I'm really looking forward to that match. They're just a fantastic tag team, and me and Tyree might be in a little bit of trouble. We'll see, because they are two really big bugs that hit hard. I don't know how to put it any other way than that. And me and Tyree obviously didn't start as a tag team. We kind of got thrown into this together, just on a whim, on fate. I went out to help him out, and we ended up winning. And True Grit has been a tag team for quite a while, and they mesh really well together. They're always on the same page. They're an awesome group. I saw them last Friday in Imperial, California. Yeah, they're two fantastic wrestlers. On the bright side, if you bleed, will your mask turn purple? No, it turns red. It's happened before. Definitely turns red. The Wrestling Guy with the store in LA. Yes, the Wrestling Guy does have a store in LA, and I'll be there tomorrow. Saturday, obviously, everyone's mentioned it. Everyone's asked about it. The card is finally out. I can finally announce to you bugs what I'm doing at Wrestle Circus, Austin, Texas, Saturday, 6 p.m. Austin, Texas time. I don't know what time zone they're in. You can watch it live right here on Twitch. I'll probably be rehosting it on my channel by then, but you can watch it live right here on Twitch. You can even go to my channel, because like I said, I'll be rehosting it, or go to twitch.tv/WrestleCircus, because that's where you can get in on all their chat and have fun and all that stuff. Please show your support for me out there. Show your support for all those fantastic bugs that are going to be in the ring. Oh, my match. Yes. So they announced my match. And Wrestle Circus, there's been some things happening backstage in Wrestle Circus where someone's been attacking Jervis, or someone's been ordering people to attack Jervis during his matches, before his matches, after his matches. And last show, Jervis finally got to the bottom of it, and it was Austin the Ref. So this show, it will be Team Jervis, which is consisted of myself and a bug that a lot of you have been asking me to tag with, Super Beetle and Space Monkey. Support Team Jervis. We're fighting for his honor against Team Austin the Ref, comprised of Ethan Page and JC Rez. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's either JC Rez or JC Res. I've seen some of his work. I've seen some of Ethan Page's work. I am so excited for this match, and I can tell all of you bugs are too. I keep pointing this way because you're over here on my screen, but you're over here. I just need to move it eventually. I just need to move the chat box this way. I'm so excited. I can tell all you bugs are too. Austin, Texas, Wrestle Circus. I cannot state how big this is and how thankful I am for you. There's probably like 8 videos on this channel and on the YouTube channel, which it's just me proclaiming my love for all of you and thanking you so much for bringing me to Austin, because I was voted into this. I wasn't on this card 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. You bugs voted for me in a poll I posted on Twitter that I didn't think I was going to win. I know other people didn't think I was going to win. Evilise from Lucha Underground was on that poll. There was AJ Gray, who's been tearing it up on the East Coast, was on that poll. Vinny Masario, another Lucha Underground, fantastic wrestler, was on that poll, and you bugs picked me. So I can do this, and I can promise that I will do my best to not let you down, and to prove that Super Beetle doesn't only belong in Wrestle Circus, but belongs anywhere where you bugs can come out and see me, in your hometowns. That's what I'm going to try to do on Saturday. I promise you that. And that's about all I can promise you. Other than that, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Please punch Ethan Page right in the mush. Really hard. Please hard. I'm going to try. Punches are illegal in wrestling, so it might have to be a forearm. We'll see. Just bam. Well, bam. See? Boom. And I'm going to dance because that's what I do. And when you're in Austin, Texas, you got to dance. Obviously. Which leads us to Sunday. Sunday, bugs. I feel like I've been throwing you to Twitch all week, but it's not even going to stop there. Sunday, we will be back here with Free Play, and we're going to have a special guest. Uptown Andy Brown, who's also been killing it all over SoCal, California. Just had an insane match with Fatu at Pacific Coast Wrestling last Friday. Has an insane match this Friday with Fidel Bravo for the EWF World Championship, a championship that he has never lost. And Fidel Bravo won it from him in a Fatal 4-Way match where he was not pinned. So that's going to be insane. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go on YouTube, search Uptown Andy Brown or Andy Brown Wrestler, and watch the amazing things that my friend can do. And I'm super happy to call him my friend. And because he is such a hard hitter, if you want Andy Brown to punch, if you want somebody to punch somebody in the mesh, it's Andy Brown's going to be the one doing it because his strike game is insane. Man, you are so busy. Hope you can get some rest. That's awesome, though. I'm excited for Andy to be on the stream, too. Trust me, I'm not going to get rest. These eyes are just going to get bigger and more bags. There's going to be bags kind of right here. I'm just going to draw on my bags. I saw him take on Fatu, got to shake his hand after the match. Cool guy. Super cool guy. I'm so glad that you bugs are excited. Because Andy is such a hard hitter, we're going to be playing UFC. We're going to be playing UFC, and probably when I get tired of getting knocked out, we're going to switch to something else. But it's free play. So please, come with your questions. Come with anything. Any questions for Andy, any questions for me, any stories you want us to tell. He's probably almost definitely going to talk about the match with Fatu. And Fidel Bravo from these past couple of weeks, and anything that comes off the top of your head. He's been wrestling for around 6-7 years now, and he has been EWF champion this whole past year up until a month ago. So yeah, play Mario Party, lose a friendship. Definitely don't want to lose a friendship. Like I said, he's a very hard hitter, so I might get hit. Man, UFC is fun to play. We'll see. I was not great at it when it was just myself. So hopefully with another bug in there next to me, it'll be a little more not one-sided. It'll be a little more fair chance. But yeah, bugs, that's the weekend. Oh, I almost forgot. Obviously, Sunday night, another Super Beetle Adventures will be going up. You would be crazy to not think that I'm going to record everything this weekend. Absolutely everything, from me meeting Space Monkey to me and Jervis meeting, to just everything, to True Grit just slamming my face into the ground, because like obviously I shouldn't be excited for that, but this whole weekend just kind of built on each other, and this is a wrestling weekend. As simple as that. So Sunday night on the YouTube, I can't do youtube.com/superbeetle yet, or /realsuperbeetle, because I don't have 100 subscribers yet. So if you can, go over to the link down below, hit the YouTube, and subscribe to that, or get your friends to subscribe to that. Get your mama bugs, get your papa bugs to all subscribe to that, so I can finally change that, so I can be like, oh, just go to my YouTube. No, go to youtube.com/realsuperbeetle. Can't do that yet, but as soon as I get 100 subscribers, you best believe we're gonna do that. Yes, all the adventures are awesome, but I think this is gonna be a super great one. This one is probably gonna be a lot longer than the other ones, because like I said, this one is super packed. So, bugs, it's Wednesday. I'm going to thank you for the 100th time during this stream, because on Wednesday, we wear pink. as we're doing. But you come right here to twitch.tv/SuperBeetleGames and you watch Beetle's Comic Box, where we talk about the comics that came out this week. But not only that, we talk about a ton of stuff. Anything you bugs want, really. Shoot, I had movie announcements to go over if we didn't fill up an hour. But I didn't have to do it because we just ended up talking about everything. And this show would not be the same without the support and interaction from you in the chat box. Simple as that. Because if it's just me talking to a screen, not as fun. But everybody from Miss Chandra to Cynical Devil to Sir Magnus to Prez, you bugs make this fun. And you bugs, I have people come up to me during the day and mention you bugs and how much fun they have watching us interact on here. So thank you for that. And thank you for telling your friends about it. Thank you for retweeting it, getting it out, and getting more bugs in here all the time. Getting more followers, getting subscribers. Oh, duh, I didn't mention it once. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. So please subscribe to Super Beetle Games. The button's up here somewhere. But there's a subscribe button. That really helps. Donations really help. Obviously, anything monetary is totally voluntary by you bugs. But it really helps me in terms of training, in terms of gear, in terms of obviously money to buy these games, to buy these comic books, and it all just obviously goes back into the stream, goes back into making this all a better experience for everybody. We spoke about Ethan Page's mush, R.I.P. Yeah, we did speak about Ethan Page's mush, and we'll see how that goes. Like I said, forearms is gonna be the thing for me. So, bugs, thank you for coming out. Please say goodnight to everyone in the chat, because you've all been fantastic. I'm going to say goodnight right now, because it's super late, and it's probably super late for you bugs too, any bug that's not in California. Thank you so much for coming out, which I've said again. I was probably just going to go through that whole thing again. It's programmed into my mind a little bit. I got to figure out a way to sign off of this. To just sign off of this whole thing. I can do that, which I do in my matches, but like I can't reach over to the stream and stop the stream while I'm doing that. So it just looks like oh, hold on, let me get this. And it doesn't look right. So if you could think of something to sign off with besides goodnight, please tell me, because we're still figuring this whole thing out. It's been like 3 weeks. How crazy! It's only been 3 weeks and we've already established this whole thing. So thank you for wearing pink. Thank you for coming out. Please have a fantastic night. I will see all you bugs absolutely everywhere this weekend. It's insane. I can't wait. Thank you for coming out and supporting. Bye, bugs.